One of the greatest Marvel movies of all time, 1998's Blade.
Blade.
My name's Murray on Movies. Follow for more. Let's do this.
Tonight, they awaken.
Deacon Frost, once human, now vampire, is in search to unleash hell upon Earth by raising the vampire god. He's a young vampire with a chip on his shoulder. The vampires are in classes. You have your purebloods, those who were born vampires, and then you have those who were simply turned.
A secret race. Hidden here among us.
Problem is, their greatest enemy was inadvertently created by Deacon. When Blade's mother was pregnant, she was bitten, and so when Blade was born, he was known as the Daywalker because he had all of their strengths and none of their weaknesses, except for the thirst. And then along comes Whistler, a man whose entire family was murdered by vampires. And so he sets out to kill as many of them as he possibly can. When he comes across Blade, he almost did kill him, but instead finds out what he is and decides to train him.
With a lust for power
We should be ruling the humans.
that knows no bounds.
The world belongs to us, not the humans.
Dr. Karen Jensen on one fateful night is bitten by a vampire just as Blade is trying to hunt him down, and that's how they cross paths. However, rather than ending her there and then, Blade decides to take her back to Whistler, where she's treated, and she actually manages to come up with a cure. And so now the three of them banded together go out to stop Deacon Frost before he unleashes the blood god on the world.
They have no fear but one.
Starring Wesley Snipes, Chris Christopherson, Stephen Dorff, Sanaa Lathan, Udo Kier, Donald Logue, and Unbush Wright. Directed by Stephen Norrington.
There are worse things out tonight than vampires.
Like what?
Like me.
I actually prefer this to Blade 2 for a couple of reasons. So the first reason is Blade's serum. It feels painful to take. Controlling his thirst really feels like something he has to work at. Whereas in Blade 2, it's an inhaler. Like, it's lost all of its effectiveness. You don't really feel it anymore. Number two, Blade in the first movie, it feels like something he is obligated to do, something that weighs heavy on him. Whereas in Blade 2, he seems to be having a bit more of a fun time. And again, it probably tracks with the character. I just didn't like the lighter tone. Additionally, there is very little CGI in this. In fact, a funny thing about the ending as to why the CGI looks so bad is because the ending was never going to be that at all. In the ending we get in the theatrical release, Deacon Frost releases the Blood God, and the Blood God goes into him, and they have a sword fight, and that's partially how they defeat the Blood God. But the original plan was the Blood God was supposed to be a blood tornado, and it whips through humanity, turning everybody into vampires. But Deacon had a backup plan. You can see this in some deleted scenes. The backup plan they sort of used in Blade Trinity, where they're going to keep some human beings alive, comatose, and just keep them for their blood. But unfortunately, as soon as Deacon turned into the blood tornado in the test audiences, people didn't like it anymore. They wanted to see Deacon Frost versus Blade, which is why they rewrote and reshot the ending. So it was a sword fight instead, which means that the CGI at the end of the film had to be rushed to be finished. So bearing that in mind, and the limited technology they had in 1998, the ending is actually incredibly impressive.
There's a war going on out there. Blade, myself, we kill as many of them as we can find.
Part human, part immortal.
Wesley Snipes is absolutely perfect in this movie. Yes, they rewrote the mythology of Blade because Blade in the comic books is not Blade in the movies, but at the same time, I couldn't have seen it any other way. Not only that, but coupled with Wesley Snipes' incredible martial arts skills, this is just oozing with cool. The long leather jacket coupled up with the bulletproof vest and that huge sword, along with the rest of his tech, just makes this awesome.
I know all about you. Daywalker.
He alone has the power of both worlds.
All our strengths, none of our weaknesses.
You couple all that up with possibly one of the most iconic lines of all time, which I'm going to say because TikTok doesn't really seem to give a crap about what I do these days. It is, of course, some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
And when the world of the living is at an end, he alone can turn back the tide.
You're nothing to me but another dead vampire.
Anyway, have you seen Blade from 1998? And if so, let me know in the comments below. What did you think? And which is your favourite? Oh, and have you caught the TV series?
Wesley Snipes, Stephen Dorff.
He makes the weapons. I use them.